Right, so welcome back, guys. What's your first time here? I'm Vision here, by Entertainment in our video. Today we're talking about the recent news regarding Super Sentai. Now, I usually don't cover Super Sentai here on my channel, but I figured this was somewhat of an important topic to touch on due to the fact that it concerns Power Rangers. Now, Power Rangers, don't you instantly up there, hit subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon. This is more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. Now, let's begin. Now, like I said, I don't cover Sentai on my page. I just don't. I recently did regarding the whole AI stuff and everything regarding that. But for the most part, I do not cover Super Sentai. But I figured I should cover it here because of how interconnected Super Sentai is with Power Rangers. Now, reports are being made that they are doing a rebranding of Super Sentai under the new title. I think it's Universe Heroes or something like that. Or Universe Warriors. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Universe Heroes though. But they're going under this new name. It's been 50 years. And from what I understand, there's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And I guess they chose this as a good time to rebrand. Now, I think this is an interesting news coming out now. I find it interesting that the fact that it's rebranding itself and going through a new phase. Meanwhile, here in the States, Power Rangers are going through a whole new phase and rebooting itself. I don't know, is that a coincidence or not? It seems weird. Maybe not. But, we got this Super Sentai news. Now, from what I've heard, and again, I don't keep up with Sentai news. I'm not a Sentai fan. I just keep up with PR and Power Rangers news and everything surrounding that. But from what I understand with Super Sentai is that there have been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Apparently, right around this time is where you'd get the name and information, I guess, and confirmation for the next season of Sentai. Right now, they're on their 50th season, from what I understand. So this is kind of their big anniversary over there. I think it's Gozuja or something like that that's airing right now. So, from what I understand, this will be the last, at least, Super Sentai title. I don't know if, Super Sentai is still going to be Universe or Universe Heroes or whatever, or if Universe Heroes is going to be something completely separate. I don't understand how this whole thing works. But I also find it interesting that they decided to do it after their 50-year anniversary. Is there this big event that's going to happen in Super Sentai that resets everything or something? Similar to what comics do, where you have this big event and then things get reset. I don't know. But from what I've heard, along with along with other things, is that I don't know who it was exactly, if it's Sentai, Toei, or whoever it is connected here, wants to bring this kind of content more to a Western audience. Now, we all know Sentai's big in Japan. Power Rangers is somewhat big here. It never got that big staying power that, other franchises have. But it has somewhat, gained a following. We've been fans for 30 years. But it's not as big as some of the other franchises out there like Ninja Turtles, Transformers, MCU, DC. It hasn't reached that level, and honestly, unless this new Disney Plus Reboot series does amazingly well, it's probably never going to reach that standard. But where we are now with Super Sentai and want to move it to the Western audiences, a rebranding probably is their best bet. Now, again, I don't know how much connected it will be to Super Sentai, but however they go about doing this, rebranding is probably the best way they can go, because it kind of is a soft reboot depending on how they go about this. And you can then bring in this Universe Heroes into the States or anywhere else in the country or anywhere else in the world and kind of try to introduce it to other audiences. Now, I think from what I've heard is VR Troopers and Beetleborgs or whatever was tried to brought over into the States in the 90s and 2000s, but didn't really do too well, so it kind of got canceled. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember the 90s that well, I was still little. But, that happened then. So maybe this is their go again and try to reintroduce it to Western audiences. A lot of things change over the years. Again, it's been 30 years since that happened. So maybe they're trying a different route this time and trying to bring it to Western audiences. Now, another thing I've heard is that the sales for Super Sentai have been down in Japan. Now, this is a huge issue for companies. Um, you know, look at Power Rangers in itself. Toy sales went down, so they stopped producing toys. And then the show kind of went on hiatus. So we didn't get toys. Sure, we got that reignition line. But, toys do play a big factor. In all honesty, PR and Super Sentai, for the most part, are just an ad to, promote their toys. And if people aren't buying their toys, they're losing money, and that affects their product that they're putting out. And I know people say, but Hasbro and they aren't making toys. When it comes to making toys, that's all on us. That comes on to the fan, because we buy the toys. The store, take Walmart, for example. They see Hasbro, for example, putting out this new line of Dino Fury toys. So they place an order in to get the new Dino Fury toys. They stock their shelves, and then if we don't show up to buy them, then Walmart is losing money, and they're not going to put in a new order to Hasbro because we aren't buying the product. So then that product is no longer on the shelf. So a lot of people argue and complain that it's Hasbro's fault that we don't get toys. No, it is our fault that we don't get toys for whether it's Sentai or Power Rangers. So, there's that aspect. So, if there's no toys, it's hurting its own property. But also that goes down to also, like I said, it's a big toy commercial. So that also probably affects ratings and viewership. And again, if your viewership is going down, that you have another problem there. So I feel like this might be another rebranding tactic to try to reignite some interest in the franchise. Now, here's the thing. You can't rebrand your product with a new label and say, all right, Super Sentai is now Universe Heroes. Let's move forward. That doesn't really work unless you do a real big overhaul of the whole thing. So you can't just take Power Rangers. Of course, we're talking about Power Rangers with this, for example. Say they took Power Rangers. They're Hasbro was okay, this isn't doing well. We're going to rebrand this into something else. And they just stick another name on it and throw it out to you. And you think that that's going to work. No, because people are not dumb. People are still going to know this is still connected to PR. This is still connected to Super Sentai. So they need to be cautious when doing this. Rebrandings work, but only when done right. So, with everything going on, with losing money, if the show's not being as popular as it's been, I think that this rebranding idea is interesting. To some extent, I think they should have done what Power Rangers is doing right now and just done a hiatus of the show and just kind of gone on and tried to reevaluate some things like PR did. Look, these products have been around for half a decade. Eventually, they're going to run out of steam. Eventually, the hype for it is going to die down. And when that happens, there's not much you can do. Now, Power Rangers still has hype. People still care about PR. And I'm sure there are people out there who care about Sentai. Again, I'm not a Sentai person, so I do not know. But once the hype for something dies down, it's really hard to bring back that hype. Take the MCU, for example. They have had a lot of failures in the past few years. People have lost hype for it. People aren't that excited for Doomsday. So they kind of stopped caring. The same thing they risk here rebranding Super Sentai with Universe Heroes. Could it work? 100% it could work. But could it fail? Yes. There's always a 50-50 option when going into these situations. And where we are right now, it's very interesting to see what's going on both ends of the spectrum of PR and now Super Sentai slash Universe Heroes. You know, it's a very I'm curious to see what comes out of both sides of this. You know, one's rebranding, one's going through a reboot, and I'm curious to see which one comes out on top. I know Super Sentai has had a longer stint, so it might be ahead of the curve and might actually keep going. But I also think that when your show has been going on for 50 years, there becomes a point in time when it no longer sticks. And I think that's where you guys might be right now in Super Sentai. I don't know. Again, I'm not a Super Sentai person. But going down this rebrand route, I think, you know, could work. And I'm interested to see what does happen with this Universe Heroes. Again, I'm not a Sentai person, but maybe if Universe Heroes is distributed somewhere here in the States where, you know, you don't have to go through like translation and whatnot, and I can watch it here without that, maybe I'll check it out, and maybe if I do, I like it, I'll do content about it here. But I probably won't. I've never covered Sentai here. This is mostly a PR channel, you know, so unless it is amazing and I can find it somewhere, I probably won't be covering this either. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, those are just my thoughts, pains regarding this new rebranding of Super Sentai into Universe Heroes. Let me hear all your thoughts, pains in the comment section down below. Do you like this? Do you not like it? Are you in the middle? Think, okay, we could see how this goes. Let me know all that good stuff in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts, opinions regarding the news about Super Sentai rebranding itself as Universe Heroes. As always, if you like this video, give a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon. This is more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. And you can follow me on Twitter, which are linked in the best section of your channel. As always, I'm Vision here by Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.